Okay, so I'm Drew Felty, and the setting here is I'm at a trade show, and I'm a seller seeing a potential customer that I've researched the week before based on a list of names of attendees, and reached out to them already on LinkedIn. So I know a little bit about him, and he knows a little bit about me. Okie doke. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Drew Felty with the Clemson MBA program, and we connected last week on LinkedIn. Just wanted to follow up with you on what I'm trying to create over the next year. It's a statewide program for South Carolina's defense and aerospace industries, and I've been working in the defense world for the past 10 years, and have seen firsthand how networking, teaming, and collaboration can be beneficial to folks in the industry.
Well, I'm happy right now. We're already a part and a member of the Charleston Association. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I'm not really looking for another network.
Yes, very familiar with Charleston Defense Contractor Association, and I've definitely seen in the news that you and your company are pretty happy. Your business is in an enviable position there with SPAWAR. But as you know firsthand, probably, South Carolina is poised to grow significantly in defense and aerospace over the next few years. I think you'll find that participation with SCDAN will keep you efficiently informed on what's going on across the entire state and how that may affect you and your business.
Well, that sounds a little bit interesting. Tell me more.
So I know you're the VP for Business Development. Do you ever collaborate or team with others for contract opportunities?
Sometimes we do.
So can I ask you, how do you approach that whole process?
Well, we have a few ongoing relationships in Charleston, of course. Mostly because of SPAWAR, it required us to do that for Pillars contracts.
Right. I remember there was a lot of cross-pollination in Charleston for that contract. So can you tell me who else on your team influences those sorts of teaming decisions?
Well, we work closely with the operations on potential partners, but anything to do with business development, that comes to me. That's all me.
Right, and I bet trust weighs heavily on that partnership decision. Can you tell me how long does it take to establish that kind of relationship?
Well, trust is important, but we've known all of our partners for a while now, even several years. Two of our employees are even from two of those partnerships, so I'm kind of comfortable with how they operate.
Right, right. So, if you can, tell me, how do you stay up to speed with other aerospace and defense actions within South Carolina, kind of like the Pillars contract?
Well, we have a team. They keep me informed on what's the word on the street, and I also receive a lot of emails from SE Business.
Oh, that's great. I am subscribed to the exact same email. It's great. I find it very handy. So if you've been following it, how do you think South Carolina's positioned for the next round of BRAC?
Well, I think we'll be okay. We did all right last time. I know they aren't going to shut down the Paris Island.
I think you're right about that. But tell me, are you familiar with the Department of Defense request for 10 attributes from every state that they're going to see continued military base funding for?
Well, I remember hearing about that, but I don't really know the details.
Well, the 10 items mainly concern military family and veteran support issues. Can you tell me, how do you think South Carolina is doing on that list of 10 action items?
Well, I'm not sure about the specifics, but I know we should be doing everything we can for our veterans and their families.
Yes, I couldn't agree more with you there. Of course, the Department of Defense keeps up with our status, and I'll tell you, as of right now, we've addressed only about half of them.
Really?
So with that in mind, what kind of repercussions do you think would bring to your business if we were to lose another base or command in the next round of BRAC?
Well, it really depends on which one, but it's not good in general for business if we lose one.
I couldn't agree with you more. On the flip side, though, do you know that Charleston is in the top list of potential sites for AFRICOM?
I had heard it a while back, but nothing really recently.
So what kind of impact do you think it would have on your business if we gained a military command like we did in 2005?
I don't really know. I hadn't really considered it, but it couldn't be a bad thing.
I think most folks in South Carolina would agree with that. So tell me, do you feel like your company has had a voice or even a forum to discuss South Carolina's approach and preparations for this whole BRAC process?
Well, now that I think about it, I don't really think so.
So, from what I hear you telling me, you and your team are definitely well-tuned to SPAWAR and business going on in Charleston. But it also sounds like there's a lot more going on in South Carolina, both threats and opportunities that could affect you and your company.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, do you have any other concerns?
Well, the whole subject of AFRICON that you brought up earlier is really unknown to me, and I'm kind of wondering, how is Charleston at the top of that list?
Well, I'll tell you real quick, there's two big influences on that. Number one is the Charleston Air Force Base, because pretty much anything that's airlifted to Europe, the Middle East, or Africa comes out of Charleston, South Carolina, which is fantastic for our state. But I'll tell you something else that a lot of people don't know about, even in the defense and aerospace community, is that a local contractor here in Greenville, Fluor, handles all of the operations and the contractor operations and logistics for the continent of Africa. And so those two things combined put Charleston, South Carolina at the top of the list.
Okay, okay.
So tell me, do you think it'd be worthwhile to learn some more about these threats and opportunities?
Of course, that's part of my responsibility as the VP of our business development department. So yeah, I would love to hear more.
Right, right. So in learning more about how events within the defense and aerospace industries could affect you and your company, tell me, are you pretty happy with getting those automatic direct emails?
Yeah, because that would take a lot of legwork out of what I have to do as far as digging for information and things like that. So a direct email would be perfect.
Right. But for your word on the street news and things that come from face to face, those are sort of face-to-face interactions, right? That sort of feedback your team provides?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So tell me, and regarding voicing opinions or perspective on, what South Carolina is doing in preparation for BRAC, or even taking action on helping South Carolina get prepared for the next round. Do you think that's a combination of both online information and in-person communication discussion?
Yes, actually the in-person, face-to-face communication is better because that really builds that trust. And in the military, we really need to have that trust factor addressed in those type of interactions.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that before.
Oh yeah.
So tell me, in meeting folks in the industry, potential partners or even new customers from throughout the state, again, is that best done face-to-face?
Yeah, absolutely. That's best done face-to-face. Like I said, it's really important to establish that trust.
So of all these things, we just talked about, if you had to prioritize them, which one would really be most important to you?
Well, I think learning more and having more of a voice, as you said before, and also a mechanism to act on these important issues is important. I don't really like the idea of not really knowing what's going on in South Carolina. So I really think that would affect my business.
Right. So you're interested in learning more about South Carolina defense and aerospace issues and having a way to act on them and expanding your network here in South Carolina.
Yeah, all of those things would help me grow as a business.
Are there any other issues important to you here that aren't addressed?
No, not really.
Maybe I should say that too, that we haven't talked about.
Okay.
So if I can offer you a way to address these needs through SCDAN, you think you'd become a member?
Yeah, I think I would. I like that information.
Well, each of these things are in fact covered by an annual corporate membership with SCDAN. So for on the news front, we're developing an automatic SCDAN email feature, and we're also exploring a part-time journalist to cover the State House and state offices for all their work on defense and aerospace industries, including BRAC. So we have some pretty good mechanisms in the work to quickly and efficiently get all the pertinent news and information that we find to you, our membership base. And as far as voice is concerned, our members have access to an online discussion panel for industry issues, and you also, with a corporate membership, you get one vote on resolutions that our board brings together on larger actions that the South Carolina Defense and Aerospace Network would take to help in things as large as BRAC that affect the entire state. And of course, regarding networking, corporate members will have tickets to our three quarterly industry meetings and our much larger annual membership meeting for face-to-face introductions and working those interpersonal relationships, and of course, getting some of that word-of-mouth news. Does this sound appealing to you?
Yeah, of course. The only concern I kind of have is security of your site.
Right. The online discussion of issues and so on, that's a closed, password protected site. So it's not like, we're airing laundry for anybody in the world to check out. So in joining SCDAN, we'd be able to get your team informed on defense and aerospace issues, help you to do something about those issues, whether they're threats or opportunities, and potentially expand your company's trusted network beyond the local Charleston area. You agree?
Yeah, that sounds correct.
So is there any reason you wouldn't want to get involved today?
None that I can think of. When you first came in earlier, I wasn't really interested, but now I think I'm ready to go ahead and sign on up.
Well, that's great. So from LinkedIn and your company's website, I can gather all the profile information I need for our own website. And of course, we can adjust things like that very easily going forward. I have an online membership agreement right here that you can sign. And if you like, we can even you could pay the membership fee with a credit card, and I'll email you a receipt. Or we can send you an invoice in the mail next week.
Oh, please send me that invoice. Well, how you want to do that?
Go ahead, pretend it's a tablet.
Okay. Alrighty then.
So, excellent. We'll get that, as soon as that invoice is processed, we'll get your online access set up and tested. And your tickets to the next quarterly event in about 2 months will be emailed directly to you. So, James, I really appreciate your time today, and I think you've made a great move here. Couldn't be happier that you're on board, and I think you'll really find over the next few weeks how much is going on in this state regarding defense and aerospace, and I think you'll be ready to find new ways to be a part of that growth. So, thank you.
Thank you.